What's going on, cloud enthusiasts and tech fam in general? We back in the lab. You ever had an MP3 audio file or MP4 video file that had some good content in it, and you wish you had a transcript of that content in text format so that you could maybe take pieces out of it and plug it into an AI or put it into a separate document or something like that? Well, I got a project for you. I've faced this situation before. We're going to go ahead and build our own audio transcription workflow. We're going to use AWS services, AWS Transcribe, and a few others. As usual, we ain't going to do too much talking. I'm going to get right into it and we'll explain as we go along. So without further ado, let's go right ahead. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump right in here and go over here to the project, which is in GitHub. The project is in GitHub. Let's get this project started. Let's get it going here. Normally, I would be using VS Code to clone a repo from GitHub and then work on it locally, push it back. But I'm not going to do that today. This time, we're going to work this project out of Gitpod. If you haven't heard of Gitpod and you'd like to see a video on it, leave that in the comment section. And if I get enough interest, I'll create a video on how to set up Gitpod, how to use Gitpod. It's really convenient. It's a cloud-based dev environment, and it has a whole bunch of the dependencies and libraries that you need installed already. You don't have to do that locally, just in case you don't have a local dev environment already ready to go. It does have integration with GitHub, so I'm able to just simply open a project directly from GitHub by clicking the open, and Gitpod will take over and open that. So that's what we're doing right now. Let's get that done while I'm taking a sip of my coffee. Here we are in Gitpod. As you can see, our repo is open, audio transcription build. I got all my files right here. As you can see, it looks very similar to VS Code on my local machine, but it's all cloud-based. And we're already here in the audio transcription build on main. So let's take a look at what we got here. Let's go back to our audio transcription build and see what it says. Here is our architecture diagram, and I'll briefly go over this. And so what happens is, me, the user, I'm gonna run these scripts. CloudFormation is gonna deploy my resources. They're gonna go in my particular account and region. And it's gonna be 4 buckets and 2 Lambda functions. I'll let you read all the features and stuff on your own when you get time to go through. So basically, all we have to do is run this command here, deploy the transcription, and then run the following command here, and then this one, and we'll be all set up and ready to go. So let's look at the prerequisites. Obviously, we need AWS CLI installed. We need an AWS account with a user with the appropriate permissions. And we've got to edit our deploy file with our stack name. So let's start at the top. We're going to go over here. We need AWS CLI installed here because it is not installed by default in Gitpod. So that's what we're going to do. I've already got a file inside the project with the command to install the CLI for Linux-based machines. I'm gonna paste it there, and we're gonna hit it, and now it is there. We can check that by typing AWS. As you can see, it is. So then we'll make sure we got connection to my user's account. So I always do AWS S3 LS. It's the quickest command to put in. If you have access, it will show your buckets. Now, as you can see, it says unable to locate credentials you can configure credentials by running AWS configure. I forgot to install my my credentials, so that command wasn't going to work. So I would type AWS configure, and it's ready to take my access key and my secret key. So let me go and find an access key and a secret key, which I will do off screen here. So please bear with me. Okay, now that we have installed our credentials, I should be able to get a list of my current buckets by running the command AWS S3LS. It did list my buckets, so I know that my account credentials are valid and working. So we are good to go there. What else did we need to do? Clone the repo. We've got to edit the deploy transcription sh file and edit the stack name constant. So let's do that. Gonna go here to our bin file and deploy transcription.sh, and right here under constants, we're going to input the stack name we want our CloudFormation stack name to be, and I'm gonna name mine. Just gonna do audio trans project. All right, audio trans project. This is gonna be the name of my stack. It must be all lowercase because the CloudFormation template is referencing the stack name to create the bucket names. And as we all know, bucket names must be globally unique and have no uppercase letters or special characters like exclamation points. So follow the rules for naming your S3 buckets when you want to do this in the stack name. And maybe I'll put that in the comment, but I think this spells it out pretty clearly. And so now that we've done that, we've updated our stack name constant. Update the region in the S3 trigger file if your region is not US East 1. Our region is going to be US East 1, so we don't need to update anything. And then we can run the deployment file, which is going to be in the bin folder. It's called deploy-transcription.sh. Go ahead and copy that. Come over here, and actually let me go ahead and open the console so we can take a look at that while we're working here. What happened? Sign in to the console. Okay, sign in. It wants my MFA code. And this is the MFA code for me, so it's 413. Sign in. All right, it liked it. It took it. We are in the console right now. We're gonna go on over to CloudFormation. And we're gonna hang out here for just a second. And I'm gonna go ahead and run my deploy and see how it goes. All right, it's checking that the CLI is installed. It does it. It likes deploying CloudFormation stack, waiting for change set to be created. If we go over here to CloudFormation and hit refresh, we can see that audio trans project, that's the stack name, creation is in process. We click inside, we can see the events that are happening right now. We click refresh and we see the refresh, stack name, all that looking good. Let's go back over here. We're gonna go back to Git pod and wait for our status to say complete here. And we'll sip some coffee while we wait.
I want to get paid to learn how to code, but I don't want to go to school for 2 years. Well, let me tell you what you need. You need to join.
Okay, are we there yet? Successfully created update stack, yes. Deployed successfully. If we go over here, we can see that the create complete audio project stack is deployed. Automate transcription of MP4, MP3, and WAV audio using Amazon Transcribe, and format transcription output to Word. Now, when we click in here, we'll see that some resources were deployed. couple of Lambda functions, our buckets and everything. We could actually go and see each of these, but I don't think that'll be necessary. You can see that they are here. And if you're familiar with AWS and CloudFormation and so on, then you know what's up there. Okay, so that piece is done. We have run the deployment script. The script deployed the CloudFormation stack template, set up the buckets and Lambdas. Then we need to deploy the S3 trigger for Lambda after deploying the CloudFormation stack. This sets up the S3 triggers for the Lambda functions. The S3 trigger configuration, it was created separately as a script to avoid circular dependencies between S3, Lambda, and logging configuration. You may or may not be aware that you can't put the Lambda trigger and the S3 bucket configuration in the same CloudFormation stack because they each depend on each other. It creates what's called a circular dependency, and you cannot run the stack like that. So you have to apply the trigger after the bucket is created. That's the way I've been doing it. And so usually I just run a CLI command that will apply the trigger with whatever parameters I set after the bucket is created. And that's how I get around those circular dependency issues. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to take the upload, oh no, that's the wrong one. S3 trigger script. We copied it, going back over here to Git pod. We are just going to paste this in. Okay, boom, we're gonna run it. All right, all actions completed successfully. It ran for me. While we're here, let's go ahead and take a look at what we did here. So the deploy transcription, this is the script here. We edited the stack name. This is the rest of the script, and all it does is run the CLI commands that deploy my stacks, all right? And these are other bash scripts that I'm using to handle other functions like emptying the buckets, uploading the audio to S3, and obviously the S3 trigger that applies all the necessary triggers and permissions for my buckets and resources. In the CFN folder here, this is our CloudFormation script right here. It's got all of our resources that we need in here and the various configurations that are necessary, including the code for the Lambda functions inline. All right, and so let's go back over here. And so now we just need to start the transcription. So if we go back over here, we saw that our trans stack was created. If we wanted to go take a look at our S3 buckets and how the naming configuration worked out, we can see we got audio trans project, which is the stack name, unique timestamp, and then we have a formatted bucket, an input bucket, an output bucket, and a logs bucket. So the input bucket takes the audio file. It is then output in a JSON format here after Transcribe transcribes it. It is then formatted and put here in an HTML format in there, and these are just access logs for the buckets. We did that. Now we just need to upload to S3. We need to upload our audio files. Now, within the project, do have some sample audio files here. We got a sample MP3, sample MP4, and a sample wave. You can adjust this script to point to any folder where you're going to have your files that need to be transcribed, and you would just put that folder path in here. But since we're using the samples in the project, we don't have to make any changes, and all we need to do is just run this command. It's going to dynamically pick up the account name, the bucket names, and everything, and just send those sample files directly to those buckets. As you can see, the uploads happen. If we go back over here to S3, we can look inside the input buckets, and we'll see we've got 3 files that were just added there. It's 8:02 a.m. It says 8:02 a.m. So those were added. We go back to buckets. So then we can look at the output bucket. So the files are input as MP3, WAV, or MP4. Then they are output as transcribed JSON files right here. And then once they hit this bucket, they are then picked up by another Lambda and transformed into HTML files. Depending on the size of the video, it may take a little while for all of them to come. So they'll come instantly into the audio transcribe bucket, and then the functions may take a while to complete the transcription depending on the size of the file. As you can see, we just got another one in here at 8:03, and they were all uploaded at the same time, but it took a while to process this one. If we go to formatted, we can see that we have the formatted files. So now what I will do is, let's go over here and let's go to this audio file. Let's see if this thing will let us play the MP3 file. And it will.
He dropped his voice suddenly and unnaturally. Bathshire sweet, lost coquette Josie, Miss Summoning. It is. No four of it you myself frown.
So that was the MP3 file. We're gonna go over here, and this is it right here. So we're gonna open. It downloaded the sample for us, and as you can, he dropped his voice suddenly and unnaturally. That is exactly what they said in the thing. Kept Josie, Mrs. Sung. It's now four of it. And there you go. There's the transcription. It looks like we're in business. So let's go back to our S3 bucket and let's look at the other files here. Open. Click on it. Yeah. Okay. Class. Do we have Jesse? I don't know. Yep. That looks good. Let's check that last file there that we have in here. We're in the formatted, and this one. Let's open. The stale smell of beer lingers. It takes a while. And yes, so as you can see, all three of our files were transcribed to HTML. You can view it in any web browser. All you need to do now is just copy your text, paste it in your LLM, paste it in your AI, paste it in your document, report, whatever it is you're doing, and now you have it. All right, and that's it. And so from now on, all you have to do is, if you leave this deployed, is just run the upload to S3, make sure you got your correct path, and just keep putting your files in that same folder, and then come here, run upload to S3, boom. It'll upload it, run the job, and you'll have your transcription to do with what you need. And so that was just a quick little project. It was fun for me to create. I thought it would be fun, not only fun for new folks to DevOps, new people to cloud computing and AWS, to try to have a project. And it's also useful. I mean, you can take the transcribed audio text and use it for whatever you need to use it for. And I will leave links to the project in GitHub. If you want to learn how to use Gitpod, you want to learn about Gitpod, you don't know about Gitpod, let me know in the comments. I'll create a video walkthrough of Gitpod and how to use it and what it's used for. Otherwise, we'd be doing this in our own local environment on VS Code here. All right, I'm not going to hold you no longer. That is the end of the project. When you want to tear it down or you're done with it, just go to CloudFormation console and you can go ahead and click delete. But before you do that, you're going to need to empty those as 3 buckets, right? And so let's do that here. We do have a script, empty buckets.sh. So let's type that in. Bin empty buckets. It's going to empty those buckets for us. I did not create a destroy script, and so you can't destroy it from the command line. That's the only thing I didn't include in this CI/CD workflow, but you can just certainly go right over here to CloudFormation and choose the project and delete it whenever you want to delete it. And that should get rid of it for us. We'll wait till that's finished just to be sure everything is everything. All right, it's done. Gone. So we tore down all our resources, all the connections, everything that was created by that CloudFormation template has been deleted. You don't have to worry about going and looking for it. And that's it. That's the end of the demonstration. If you enjoyed this and want to see more like this, just comment that, do a thumbs up, like the video. I'll keep these coming. And until the next video, cloud enthusiasts and tech fam, peace.